Welcome to Stock Talk. This is your host, Scott. Hope you had a good week of trading this week. Wasn't able to get on here earlier in the week. Had some things going on, had to take care of. Apologize for that. But we've had a decent week of trading this week. We did pocket some money today by selling some Hut 8 Mining Corporation stock. We've had it for about a month, so we'll talk about that as we look at our portfolio. Other than that, no trades really, just watching the market pretty much. And Bitcoin's been on a tear, as you probably have seen if you've been watching any kind of financial news. But so that was our last stock that was tied to Bitcoin. So we're out of that now. So we've got to hope NVAX turns here pretty soon. NVAX kind of flat for the week, but we'll take a look at that as we look at the portfolio. So let's go ahead and jump over and do that now. All right, you can see our portfolio here. We do have a green day in the market. As you can see up here, the NASDAQ's up, Dow's up pretty good, and the S&P's up. They're doing pretty good this week. And you can see the market is still open right now, so you'll see some changing numbers here. It's about to close. It's about 8 minutes from closing. But we do have Moderna on the top there. Moderna started out green this morning. They had some news about their vaccine being approved for a booster, and at some point around midday it dropped off for some reason. I'm not even really sure why. I'll have to check a look into that. But I don't own any Moderna. Don't plan on owning any. I just mainly look at that to compare to my NVAX stock and see how they were doing. The NVAX has been red all day and a slow fall all day. So it has picked up just a tad here at the end of the day. So, but it's had a rough day, and that's. For the week, we'll talk about that. It's been pretty flat. So let's go ahead, and you can see the Bitcoin here is up. I'm just going to show you the chart on that real quick and what it's been doing. Kind of give you an idea of why some of these stocks that we've been trading we got out of. So you can see Bitcoin just today has had a really good move. You look at the 5-day chart, you see here we were down at 54, now we're at 61.3. A month ago, you were down here as low as 40, 41, 42. You can see here we're all the way up to 61. So Bitcoin has been on a tear, as well as some other altcoins. Yeah, we like what Bitcoin's been doing, and it's helped us with our stocks. You know, we did sell this one last week, MSTR, and you can see it's still going up. I was afraid it was going to do that, but wanted to go ahead and, I get a certain percentage I'm going to cash in, and we had pretty good percentage on that one. We held our Hut stock for this week to cash in on. So that's what we did today. Waited to the end of the week just to see what it was going to do, and we sold this morning, I think we sold around 1170 or so. As you can see, it kept going. So let's go ahead and pull that chart up. And, sometimes people say, well, you should have held it, but we made 31.5% on that in 1 month. And there's an old saying that the pigs get fed and the hogs get slaughtered. So we don't like to get slaughtered. We don't like to hold things and just watch it go back down. And that's what these things have a tendency to do. And so we like to buy and sell, and that's what we did. As you can see, it's all the way up. It's almost 16% today. But let's take a look at that 5-day chart. And you can see what it did this week. And you can see just a couple of days ago, we were down here at 10. And now we're at 1224. So, and just today, it's like I said, you got a 16% gain in a day. That's good money anywhere you look at it. And we've had this about 1 month. And I think, here's a 1 month chart. And I don't know what we were bought in at, but right off the top of my head, but I know we ended up with a 31.5% gain in this 1 month period. So not too bad. Not too bad. You can see it was just it was 777 right here, and now it's 1222. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good little chunk of change there. Look at the volume and what's driving this. All this Bitcoin going up and everything else right now. What is driving it is some talk about an ETF for Bitcoin futures. Now, that's not really the actual Bitcoin, but that's the futures. It's a derivative of Bitcoin. It's like being able to bet options and things like that. I think that's what that is. But it's not really the Bitcoin, but it gives you a chance to trade like on the Bitcoin. So, and that's what they do with gold. There's like even an ETF called GLD that you can buy for gold, and one for silver, SLV, or something like that. So that's kind of what they're getting here. And the rumor is it's going to be approved Monday. There was some, I think it was a tweet or something that came out on the SEC site that said something about that, about being careful or something like that, know the risk. So that everybody's taking that as an indication that there will be that ETF come next week. So watch for that. Now here's the danger. So the danger of this ETF news and it being fulfilled, it's a buy the rumor, sell the news type thing. So you got to be careful of that. Sometimes what happens is when the news does actually come out, things will sell off. They run up until it actually happens, and then it will sell off sometimes. That's going to enable a lot of money coming towards Bitcoin futures and things like that. So it's going to be probably a good thing eventually for Bitcoin, but it could have you could see a little pullback once that news comes out. One thing I do not do is I don't trade the actual cryptos, and so that's another reason I sold that hut today was because if that news does come out, let's say Monday or so, then it's possible that you actually see a pullback. Now we did have some HUD options that we also sold in our Robinhood account. We don't really discuss those here, but we've done well with those as well. So just taking the money off the table, pocketing money, as I like to say, and so we don't get greedy around here. We try to take it at 31%. It's pretty that's pretty greedy because my real goal is about 6%. But I knew this thing was going to keep running for a while, and it still may. But we wanted to go ahead and cash in and stay retired. Okay, so you may have a different strategy, and you can see some strategy videos I've got. But it's up to you on how you do things. Okay, here's the rest of our portfolio. Let's take a look at what else is going on. NVAX again has been beat up today. Really was having a halfway decent week until today, and pretty much gave it all back. And so it's going to be down just a little bit for the week. Nothing major, but we were seeing a pretty decent little run. The market's closed now, so let's see what we got. Yeah, so it actually, let's see, it may be down a little bit here. I think it started the week around 160 something, a little bit over 160 something. Can't see it here on this chart, but it did have a little bit of a down week, but nothing major. Nothing major, and we're not going to worry about it. It's going to be fine. NVAX is, you can see the volume here. There's nothing going on with it. Been reading some decent stuff on the message boards if you can get through the garbage. There's a lot going on towards these approvals. So it's just going to be a matter of time when those approvals come out and more news about approvals being applied for in the EU. But just hang in there. If you got this one, just hang in there. Of course, that's not financial advice, but I'm going to hang in there with mine. I've got a lot of it. So we are hanging in there for sure. We've traded a lot this year. It's done this to us many times. Let me just go ahead and pull up that year chart. You can see here, we're up here, we're down here, we're back up to here, we're down here. All this kind of thing, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then down again. So this is par for course until this news comes out, and then we're going to probably see a good little steady trend up at some point. But right now, it's it's all about this approval. So that's what we're waiting on there. Okay. So just if you got any, I'm gonna hang in there with mine. I suggest you do the same, but again, not any kind of financial advice. You have to do your own due diligence. Tilray, Tilray is down today. I think I saw something on the news today. It's pot has actually been legalized in Canada now for 3 years. I saw the CEO on one of my channels today of Tilray. Tilray's of the pot companies in the U.S. I think they're one of the only profitable ones. So, but they're down today. Let's just go ahead and take a look at a 5-day chart on them. Down a little bit. You see we did have a good little pickup right there. 1 month, you see the downward trend. So they're definitely in a downward trend still. Let's take a look at that 6 month. 6 month high was $21. So 21 something. So they're really on a downward trend. So these things will turn eventually when any kind of legalization talk starts. You'll see that one turn. Nickel's down a little bit today, but Nickel's been holding up pretty good here lately. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 5-day chart. You can see it is up for 5 days, not too bad. I'm going to take a look at that month. You can see the little upward trend from the $10 mark all the way up to 11.16 in the last, what is that, October 4th. So this month's been a pretty good month so far for Nikola. They've been up here, though, recently as high as 12 and managed to fall back down. So we keep an eye on that one. We got a good bit of shares on that one as well. So pretty heavy in our shares on that one. And we're going to keep an eye on that. But overall, we had a pretty decent week in the market. Our portfolios actually ended up in the green this week. We had been down like 3 weeks in a row. So it was good to finally have a green week, even though it was not that green. It was green. All right. So sometimes that's all you're looking for, just to stop the bleeding, and that's what we got this week. We had a really good day today, pocketing some money, not only in these accounts, IRAs, again 31.5% in a month on the HUT, but we also sold options and things in another account as well that were up pretty good. So good month to stay retired, it looks like. So we're going to be doing that. So that's all my goal is, just to be able to stay retired and fund my retirement. So, and we're doing that. I took a look at the markets earlier, probably around noon today, and the NASDAQ at the time I looked was up about 15.50% year to date. S&P up 18.92% year to date, and Dow up 15% year to date. And we were beating all but the S&P. All right, so just not too bad. S&P's got us by a little bit, but we're going to catch them when this NVAX turns. I have no doubts about that. It wouldn't take much to get ahead of them. And so that's the goal, just to beat the markets. And again, if you're not beating the markets, probably the best thing to do is put your money in indexes like QQQ, or ETFs like QQQ, SPY, DIA. Those are reflections of the market. And VTI is another that I've traded as well. But those, if you want to just keep up with the markets, that's how you do it. You put your money in those 4 things. And if you're new and you're just getting started, that's probably a good way to start. It's just, if you're going to cost average, just put a little bit of your paycheck every month or every week, whatever you get, put a little bit in those 4 things, because it doesn't cost you anything to put a trade in. So VTI, SPY, QQQ, and DIA. Those are 4 that I trade. But if you're new again and you just want to put your money in the market, those would be the 4 things to put it in. The problem is right now, though, is the markets are so high, and but they just keep going, so it's hard to say. But this thing could turn at some point. But right now, they are so high, it's really difficult to put your money in, but that's why you cost average, because you might be buying in at a high point right now, but down the road you may be buying in at a lower point, and it averages out over the years. If you got 30 years to invest, then it really doesn't matter, okay, because that will take care of itself in time. But what I like to do is, now that I'm retired, I'll just wait for a down day. You get about 400 point down market or 600 point, and I'll look and jump in at the bottom of something like that, and I'll buy some of that DIA or something like that, QQQ, and then I'll just wait for the next day or two, and it goes back up, and you can just cash out for some quick money. But if you don't want to trade and you just want to invest, then you just leave your money in those kind of tools. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you have a great week. Again, apologize for not being able to get on here earlier in the week. Just had a whole lot going on. But if you haven't subscribed, I appreciate you. The one that we just got a new one just recently. I appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click this button right here and subscribe to the channel. And like the videos. You like the videos. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend, and I appreciate it. Bye bye.